The complex mission faced by the RAF in Afghanistan is celebrated in this new book. It was written by Anthony Lovelace, a photographer, journalist and author. British Forces News met him in Northern Ireland, where he explained why Blue Sky Warriors is about much more than just those who get to fly on the front line.
The Royal Air Force have a hand in almost every single aspect of the operations out in Afghanistan, and what I wanted to do was illustrate just how far-reaching that effect is. That you've got guys and girls from the RAF not just flying the aircraft, you've got RAF chefs at the forward operating bases cooking the meals for the guys when they come back from patrol. You've got forward air controllers who are out on the ground embedded with the infantry, calling fast air support to drop weapons danger close. They're right there in the firing line, firing a rifle with one hand but calling in and coordinating the air support with the other. You've got the fire and rescue guys who are out there to provide and joining with the IRT when they go out on a shout. You've got the Chinook pilots who almost every single time they take off they're flying in to face hostile fire when they come into land. So there is a whole range of RAF personnel doing different roles, and what I wanted to do was illustrate in as widely as possible what those guys and girls are doing in their own voices. I was blown away actually by the way people opened up, just the candour that people told me their stories with. The technology may have changed, but in practical terms the job that they're doing isn't a million miles away from what the Battle of Britain pilots were doing. It's an analogy that's often drawn, and it's the parallels are so obvious when you look at what they're doing. The Battle of Britain pilots would lay around in full flying kit, not too far away from their aircraft, and as soon as the call to scramble was made, they'd run as fast as they could to the aircraft and get airborne because they had to get up there and meet a threat. And in Afghanistan, it isn't massively different. You've got the guys when they're on GCAS, they're wearing full flying kit and they're on 15-30 minutes notice to scramble, and as soon as a call comes in they know that every second makes the difference. Between every second it takes them to get airborne is a second that they're delaying bringing assistance to the guys on the ground. I think it would have been very easy to do a book specifically about pilots, and what would have been new. What I wanted to do was illustrate just how wide-reaching the RAF's role is in terms of what they're doing in Afghanistan. And I think it's important to include the pilots, but it's also important to show just what the RAF are doing down on the ground. You've got the RAF regiment who are responsible for the security of Kandahar and go out on patrols outside the wire. And in practical terms, in terms of what they're doing, it's not a great deal different from what the infantry regiments are doing when they're closing on the enemy. The RAF regiment are out there operating on a hearts and minds principle, trying to get the locals on side, but ultimately they're there to protect Kandahar. And as we've seen over the last 18 months, sometimes they're paying the ultimate sacrifice.
That was Anthony Lovelace there.